Welcome back to Science in Sleeping. I'm so glad you've chosen to spend this time with me tonight. Whether you're lying in bed under the soft glow of a night lamp or tucked in beneath warm blankets, I hope this session helps you drift into calm, or at the very least, gives your mind permission to rest gently. Tonight, we're drifting into the fascinating interplay between sleep, psychology, and the weather, exploring how the clouds above and the winds outside might subtly shape the rhythms of your mind. I want you to know that this space is yours, a place where there is no rush, no deadlines, no need to keep score, just quiet curiosity, soft focus, and gentle awareness. I wonder, as you settle in, where you're watching from tonight. Is it a bustling city apartment, a quiet suburban home, or perhaps a cozy spot somewhere far across the globe? If you like, take a slow moment to note the time where you are, and allow yourself to feel connected to this vast community of dreamers, thinkers, and explorers. All of us united by the shared desire to rest while still learning something new. Tonight, I invite you to release the urge to remember everything perfectly. You don't need to analyze, retain, or even try hard to follow along. Your only task is to breathe, to notice, and to let the stories and facts drift over you like gentle rainfall. Some of what I share will be purely science, some of it a narrative, some a mixture of psychology and wonder. All of it is designed to soothe, to intrigue, and to let your mind wander safely into calmness. As you make yourself comfortable, perhaps adjusting your pillows just so, or letting your blanket cocoon you in softness, consider the weather around you tonight, the subtle rhythm of the breeze, the occasional rustle of leaves, or the distant patter of rain, even if it is still outside. You may feel the invisible patterns brushing against your consciousness. These are not distractions, but gentle companions on our journey. Companions that your brain has been responding to for millennia. We'll explore tonight how the changing seasons, the rise and fall of temperature, the dance of light and dark, and even the distant murmurs of a storm all play into the ways your mind unwinds, how your thoughts settle, and how your dreams find their starting point. Imagine for a moment the neurons in your brain, firing and resting in delicate harmony, each influenced subtly by environmental cues, the way a soft drizzle can calm the anxious mind, or a brisk wind can invigorate a wandering imagination. As we begin, allow your body to sink deeper into the mattress beneath you. Feel the weight of your limbs as they become heavier, as though the earth itself is gently holding you in place. Your breath, slow and even, is a quiet metronome guiding you, and as you exhale, let go of any tension in your shoulders, your jaw, your hands. Each breath a small act of permission to rest, to drift, to listen. Now settle in, get comfortable. Perhaps wrapping yourself in a favorite blanket or letting the sheets brush your skin softly. Tonight's journey will be long but gentle, a slow unfolding of knowledge and reflection, a lullaby of science that doesn't demand attention but rewards curiosity. And as you listen, remember that you are allowed to drift off whenever you need. There is no wrong way to experience this, only the quiet unfolding of awareness. With that, let us begin. Let us step softly into the world where clouds and neurons, wind and dreams mingle together. Let us explore the subtle rhythms that guide sleep, the psychology of weather, and the quiet magic that happens when your mind is free to wander. Tonight, we are both travelers and observers, both learners and dreamers, and the first step is simply to breathe and to let go. Have you ever wondered why the sound of rain can feel like a gentle lullaby, soothing your thoughts and easing your mind into rest? Why the rhythmic patter against windows or rooftops seems to align perfectly with the slow, steady beating of your heart, as though nature itself were inviting you to let go and drift. Picture yourself standing by a window on a quiet evening, the sky painted in muted shades of gray and silver. Each raindrop falls with a soft, deliberate rhythm, like tiny dancers performing on invisible stages. The air is cool, slightly fragrant, with the scent of wet earth, and every breath feels fuller, calmer, more deliberate. You are both observer and participant in this delicate symphony, sensing the weight of the sky above and the gentle pull of the ground beneath. This simple, natural rhythm becomes a companion, a reminder that even in chaos there is harmony. Rain affects our sleep in ways both subtle and profound. The sound itself, a mixture of white and pink noise, has a unique ability to mask intrusive thoughts, creating a mental cocoon that allows your neurons to fire and rest in more organized patterns. Did you know that studies have shown rhythmic, low-frequency sounds like rainfall can enhance slow-wave sleep, the stage where your body repairs tissues, consolidates memories, and releases growth hormones? This gentle acoustic environment reduces cortisol levels, calming the fight-or-flight responses that often keep the mind restless at night. The chemistry of rain also touches us in less obvious ways. When droplets strike the ground, they release a scent called petrol, a mix of plant oils and microbial compounds. This subtle aroma interacts with your olfactory system, stimulating the limbic region of the brain, which is directly linked to emotion and memory. You might recall a childhood memory, a quiet garden, or a rainy afternoon, without consciously trying. The water cycle itself, from evaporation to condensation to rainfall, mirrors the ebb and flow of our internal rhythms, reminding us that change and renewal are constant. A thunderstorm's distant rumble, for example, can trigger slight elevations in heart rate and attention, but when experienced safely, it can paradoxically deepen relaxation. As your brain anticipates safety and lets the parasympathetic system take over, consider too the temperature and humidity changes that accompany rainfall. The cooler, denser air slows our breathing and makes our environment feel cocoon-like, encouraging the brain to release melatonin, the hormone that signals sleep onset. This interaction is a dance of physics and physiology, invisible yet deeply tangible, like watching the patterns of waves on a lake. Your body synchronizes with external rhythms, settling into an almost imperceptible resonance with the environment. Fascinatingly, cultures across the globe have recognized this instinctively, from Japanese forest bathing to the rhythmic use of water in meditation. Humans have long attuned themselves to the calming properties of rain, even before neuroscience could explain why. As the rain falls, your thoughts begin to slow, like leaves drifting on a gentle stream. You notice patterns in the sound, variations in pitch and intensity, and perhaps a comforting irregularity that mirrors the quiet unpredictability of life itself. In this moment, your mind is engaged, yet unburdened, curious yet at peace, as neurons fire and reset, as blood flow adjusts, and as body and mind prepare for rest. The external world becomes a collaborator in your journey toward deep, restorative sleep. Imagine now that each droplet is a messenger from the sky, carrying with it ancient wisdom, subtle reminders that life is both transient and eternal. The rain connects mountains to rivers, clouds to oceans, sky to soil, in a continuous cycle of renewal. Just as your thoughts rise and fall, your breathing contracts and releases, and your dreams will ebb and flow tonight. There is beauty in the repetition, comfort in the constancy, and awe in the knowledge that even the simplest natural phenomena have profound impacts on your inner world. You are cradled in a rhythm older than humanity, yet intimate enough to touch your consciousness directly. And as the rain continues softly beyond your window, let yourself drift toward the gentle hum of what comes next. Soon we will explore the whisper of wind, the invisible currents that stir the mind and body alike. Allow your awareness to glide with the water, and prepare for the next gentle unfolding in our journey through the science of sleep. Have you ever paused outside on a quiet night and felt the wind brush softly against your skin, almost like a whispered secret from the world itself? Have you wondered why certain breezes seem to carry a sense of mystery, stirring both curiosity and a strange sense of comfort at the same time? Why does the gentle rustle of leaves, or the subtle shift of air across your face, feel almost like a guide, inviting you into a deeper awareness of yourself and the night around you? Picture yourself standing in a meadow under the faint glow of a crescent moon. The world is hushed but not silent. Every blade of grass, every leaf, and every distant tree seems to respond to the unseen movements of the wind. You notice a faint stirring in the branches above, the soft sigh of air weaving through them, and perhaps a distant chime of a windmill or rustling of a forgotten flag. It is as though the wind is carrying a story, whispering secrets that only patience and attention can hear. You breathe in deeply, and each inhalation seems to synchronize with the invisible currents, drawing you into a subtle rhythm that is both external and profoundly internal. Wind is one of nature's most delicate yet mysterious companions when it comes to sleep. Its presence is paradoxical, sometimes energizing, sometimes soothing, always unpredictable. Did you know that the brain has specific mechanisms for detecting changes in air pressure, airflow, and ambient temperature, all of which the wind subtly manipulates? These tiny environmental cues, often unnoticed consciously, can modulate neural activity, influencing the balance between the sympathetic and parasympathetic nervous systems. In simpler terms, the wind can either stir alertness or encourage a gentle surrender to relaxation. Depending on how it touches you and the environment you are in, there is also a psychological component, almost like an invisible narrative carried by the wind. The human mind has long associated moving air with change, transition, and even storytelling. Ancient cultures listened to the winds as carriers of prophecy, guidance, and omens. The Maori of New Zealand, for instance, believed that winds whispered messages from the ancestors, while in Norse mythology, the north wind could both warn of storms and guide lost travelers. Even today, the sensation of wind brushing past us in a quiet moment can trigger an inexplicable mix of curiosity and reassurance, as though the world itself is communicating with the inner mind. From a scientific standpoint, the wind's influence on sleep is multifaceted. One aspect involves the cooling effect on the body, which subtly encourages the onset of sleep by reducing core temperature. This mirrors the natural circadian rhythm, where a slightly cooler environment signals to the brain that it is time to rest. In addition, the rhythmic rustling of leaves or soft whistling of air through narrow passages can act similarly to white noise, masking intrusive thoughts and quieting the constant chatter that often prevents sleep. Interestingly, researchers have found that exposure to gentle, natural airflow can increase parasympathetic activity, which is associated with relaxation, digestion, and restorative states of consciousness. This is why a quiet evening breeze might feel almost hypnotic, coaxing your mind toward calmness without any conscious effort. Yet, there is a suspenseful edge to wind that keeps the experience fascinating. The air can shift suddenly, intensifying or fading, creating small bursts of unpredictability, always tuned to detect pattern and anomaly. Respond with a mixture of attention and curiosity. It is a subtle thrill, a mental alertness that paradoxically allows deeper relaxation, much like a lullaby with slight variations. These minor deviations in rhythm engage the mind just enough to hold your interest, but never enough to disturb your peace. Your neurons are dancing lightly with the environment, exploring patterns and letting some drift away as the night deepens. Consider also the stories hidden in the micro-movements of wind, tiny vortices, swirling currents, and temperature shifts that your senses barely notice. But even this subtle complexity can have an effect. As the wind interacts with trees, buildings, or hills, it creates tiny acoustic variations, gentle whooshes, hushed echoes, and soft vibrations that your auditory system registers. Often unconsciously, your mind finds comfort in these irregularities, like reading a soft story written in air. This is the invisible architecture of calmness, sculpted by the world around you and the way your body senses it. Now imagine tracing the wind's journey from distant mountains, across forests, and over rivers, all converging around your sleeping place. Each breath you take is filled with air that has traveled miles, carrying the scent of earth, water, vegetation, and distant storms. There is an almost poetic continuity to this, as if you are momentarily connected to the entire planet, riding on invisible currents, yet the intimacy remains, because the same wind brushes your skin and seems to respond to your very presence. This duality, vast yet personalise part, a bridge between external nature and internal consciousness. As you allow your attention to drift with the air, notice the dance between sensation and imagination. Each flicker of wind on your cheek, each tiny shiver, each rustle of the nearby grass is a gentle anchor guiding you into calm, reminding you that you are part of something larger, yet infinitely gentle. You might even imagine your thoughts as leaves or petals, caught and carried by the wind, sometimes swirling chaotically, sometimes drifting lazily, eventually settling where they belong. And in that gentle settling, you find a profound sense of release. And as you feel the night air brushing against your skin, let yourself prepare to follow this journey further. Soon we will explore the mysterious relationship between seasonal shifts and the body's internal rhythms, where temperature, light, and environmental change quietly guide sleep in ways you have never noticed before. Allow the whispering wind to linger as a companion, a guide, a gentle storyteller, and drift with it into the next unfolding chapter of our journey. Have you ever lain awake on a warm summer night, listening to the distant rumble of thunder, and felt a curious mixture of awe and anticipation? Have you wondered why the sudden flash of lightning can send a shiver down your spine, even when you know you are perfectly safe? Why do storms feel alive, almost sentient, as if the sky itself were breathing, whispering secrets in flashes and roars? Picture yourself in a small, cozy room, curtains gently drawn, while outside the world is alive with the quiet chaos of a storm. The rain hits the roof with varied rhythm, a staccato beat followed by gentle patters, and the occasional gust of wind sends shivers through the trees. In the distance, lightning forks across the sky, illuminating clouds like momentary brushstrokes of silver and gold. Each flash is both startling and beautiful, leaving a lingering echo in the mind. A storm is a theater of natural forces, dramatic yet intimate, vast yet capable of touching you personally. Thunderstorms are not only mesmerizing, they are a profound interaction between nature and the human mind. The science behind their influence on sleep is as fascinating as it is subtle. Lightning is a sudden discharge of electrical energy, creating sound waves as the air rapidly expands, and these waves travel across distances, hitting our auditory system in irregular, unpredictable patterns. This unpredictability can initially stimulate alertness, engaging our innate attention systems. Yet, paradoxically, when experienced safely from indoors, the rhythm of storm sounds can also coax the nervous system toward relaxation. Our brains interpret these patterns as signals of environmental complexity, triggering curiosity while gradually reassuring safety, allowing both focus and release to coexist. The chemistry of the air during a storm also has unique effects. After the first rains, negative ions are released into the atmosphere, tiny charged particles that have been shown to elevate mood and reduce stress in humans. As you inhale, your lungs fill with air that has been cleansed and energized by natural processes, carrying subtle scents of ozone, wet earth, and vegetation. These cues can influence the limbic system, the part of the brain associated with emotion and memory, generating feelings of calm, nostalgia, and wonder. It's a gentle paradox. The same storm that can be overwhelming in one context becomes profoundly soothing in another, a reminder of the nuanced dialogue between external stimuli and internal perception. But there is also suspense in the storm that captivates the mind. Thunder doesn't arrive evenly. It rolls and murmurs across the sky, sometimes close, sometimes far, creating a slow crescendo and decrescendo that keeps your attention lightly tethered. The timing between flashes of lightning and the following thunder is an ancient marker for distance and danger. Yet, when safely observed, it can function like a slow, unpredictable lullaby, guiding the mind into a state of alert relaxation. There is an unspoken rhythm here, a tension and release that mirrors the oscillations of sleep cycles themselves. The interplay between alertness and surrender, curiosity and comfort. Consider the evolutionary angle. Humans have always lived in environments where storms were both life-threatening and life-testing. Lightning, could ignite forests, thunder could signal danger. Yet storms also brought rain, the nourishment of crops, and renewal for parched landscapes. Our brains evolved to pay attention to these patterns, creating neural pathways that respond both to the potential threat and to the subsequent relief. This duality may explain why, even in safety, a storm feels exciting, yet strangely comforting, as though your nervous system is being gently exercised, preparing you for rest with a controlled, predictable dose of suspense. Now, think about the effect on sleep architecture. The sensory stimulation of a storm, its flashes, rumbles, and shifting winds interacts with the brain's slow wave and REM sleep cycles in subtle ways. Some studies suggest that mild, rhythmic environmental sounds, even irregular ones like thunder, can increase the depth of slow-wave sleep once the mind adapts, allowing the body to repair tissue, consolidate memory, and release restorative hormones more effectively. The storm becomes a natural orchestrator, an invisible conductor guiding your internal rhythms, while your mind remains partially attentive, partially surrendered. Imagine the neurons in your brain responding to the storm as dancers in a complex ballet, each flash of lightning igniting a spark of curiosity, each rumble of thunder sending waves of calm across the nervous system. You feel both small and immense at the same time, intimately connected to the planet's vast electrical pulse. There is a beauty in this contrast, the simultaneous thrill and reassurance, the blend of unpredictability and safety. Each beat of your heart aligns subtly with the rhythm of falling rain, the distant roll of thunder, the whisper of wind through the trees, creating a synchronized internal and external experience that is both hypnotic and grounding. Consider the metaphorical aspect as well. Thunderstorms are reminders of impermanence and renewal. They rage, they flash, they leave the world temporarily transformed. Then calm returns, leaving a fresh, cleansed environment, just as your mind, touched by curiosity and subtle suspense, returns to calmness and rest. You might imagine your thoughts like storm clouds themselves, occasionally flashing with insight or surprise, drifting and reshaping until eventually they settle into quiet, gentle patterns, ready for sleep to carry you into dreams. And as you listen to the distant thunder, let yourself prepare to drift further. Soon, we will explore the hidden magic of moonlight, stars, and seasonal shifts, how subtle changes in light and celestial motion guide our circadian rhythms, allowing the body to fall into even deeper restorative states. Let the storm linger gently as a companion, a storyteller, a hypnotic guide, as we move softly into the next chapter of our journey through the science of sleep. Have you ever gazed up at the night sky and felt an almost magnetic pull toward the moon and stars? Have you wondered why the silver glow of moonlight can make the world feel at once intimate and infinite? Why certain nights seem to carry a rhythm, a quiet pulse that nudges your thoughts, your breath, and even your sleep patterns in subtle, almost imperceptible ways? Picture yourself lying in a quiet meadow, the grass cool beneath your fingertips, your body wrapped in the gentle embrace of the night. Above, the moon hangs like a pale lantern, casting silvery reflections on the dew-kissed earth. Stars scatter across the sky in intricate, glittering patterns, each one distant yet intimately visible. The world seems to hold its breath, waiting for you to notice, for your mind to attune itself to this celestial rhythm. The cool night air brushes softly against your skin, carrying hints of distant flowers and earth, each inhalation linking you more closely with the universe above. Moonlight, in particular, has fascinated humans for millennia, not only for its beauty, but for its influence on the body and mind. Did you know that even subtle exposure to lunar light can affect melatonin production, the hormone that guides your circadian rhythm? Your brain, attuned to cycles of light and dark for millions of years, detects these cues with remarkable sensitivity. Adjustments in light, even faint silvery moonlight, can shift the timing of sleep onset, subtly telling your body it is time to rest or, occasionally, to awaken. This is why some nights feel unusually vibrant, alert, or dream-filled, as though the sky itself has whispered a different rhythm into your neurons. Stars, too, carry a quiet influence, though it is more psychological than chemical. The human mind is deeply pattern-seeking, and the intricate arrangement of constellations engages areas of the brain linked to memory, imagination, and spatial awareness. Watching the slow drift of stars or the occasional flicker of a distant satellite, stimulating curiosity while simultaneously offering a meditative anchor. Your attention floats between consciousness and reverie, allowing the nervous system to relax while remaining softly engaged. There is a subtle thrill here, a kind of suspended suspense, as though the universe has planted tiny questions in your mind without expecting answers. From a scientific perspective, circadian rhythms are the body's internal clocks, finely tuned to cycles of light and dark, regulating everything from hormone secretion to body temperature and neural activity. The suprachiasmatic nucleus in the brain, a tiny cluster of cells, interprets environmental light cues and orchestrates a symphony of biological processes that prepare the body for sleep or wakefulness. On nights with a bright moon or scattered stars, these environmental cues are subtly altered, creating tiny shifts in alertness, memory processing, and even dream vividness. Your mind, evolved to perceive these signals, interprets them as a form of guidance, a quiet conversation with the cosmos. There is also a poetic, almost suspenseful aspect to celestial observation. The night sky is alive with motion that is slow yet inexorable. Stars twinkle, constellations rotate, the moon waxes and wanes, and subtle changes in light and shadow ripple across the landscape. Your awareness of these movements can produce a gentle, anticipatory tension, a suspended curiosity about the unseen mechanisms governing the universe. Yet, because the rhythms are slow and predictable, this tension is comforting rather than alarming. Your brain can safely explore patterns and irregularities, creating a meditative engagement that deepens relaxation. Consider the ancient relationship between humans and lunar cycles. Long before artificial light, people structured their lives around the moon, planning rest, activity, and even social rituals in accordance with its phases. Full moons were associated with vivid dreams and heightened awareness, while new moons encouraged introspection and quiet rest. Modern science now reveals that even subtle gravitational influences from the moon can affect fluid distribution in the body and the timing of certain physiological processes. While these effects are modest, they contribute to the sense that moonlight and celestial movement are deeply intertwined with the ebb and flow of life itself. Now, imagine your neurons firing in sync with this celestial rhythm. Each pulse a soft reflection of cosmic cycles, the brain's electrical activity, measured in slow oscillations during deep sleep, resonates with environmental cues, creating an almost imperceptible harmony between your internal world and the universe above. Each inhalation feels like a small alignment with celestial motion, each exhalation a release of tension, as you watch the moon's pale light shimmer across the landscape. The vastness of the night sky instills both awe and comfort, a paradoxical blend that soothes while engaging your imagination. Stars, moonlight, and circadian rhythms converge to tell a story that is both scientific and poetic. Each twinkle and shadow carries messages of time, change, and interconnectedness, reminding you that your sleep is not merely a personal act, but a participation in larger, ancient cycles. Just as clouds drift and winds move, your thoughts and body follow patterns both predictable and mysterious. There is reassurance in this, a sense that even the smallest actions are aligned with something grand and beautiful, that even in darkness there is rhythm, connection, and continuity. And as you feel the cool night air brushing your skin and your eyes, tracing the delicate dance of stars above, allow yourself to drift toward the next chapter of our journey. Soon we will explore the quiet, invisible influence of seasonal shifts, how changes in temperature, daylight, and environmental cues subtly guide the mind and body toward deeper, more restorative sleep. Let the moonlight linger as a gentle companion, a storyteller, a soft, cosmic lullaby, and follow its rhythm into the next unfolding mystery of our sleep journey. Have you ever noticed how your sleep feels different as the seasons change? Have you ever wondered why long summer days can leave your mind restless, while the crisp, cool nights of autumn seem to coax even the busiest thoughts into stillness? Why does your body seem to instinctively adjust to the invisible rhythm of the Earth's orbit, as though it knows something you don't, a secret encoded in temperature, light, and time? Picture yourself lying in a quiet forest glade, the air cool and tinged with the scent of falling leaves around you. The subtle movements of nature reflect the season's shift, leaves rustle, branches sway gently, and the distant chirp of nocturnal creatures punctuates the soft hum of life. You notice how the temperature brushes against your skin, the gradual cooling that comes with dusk, and how it feels as though the very air is whispering a message, an invitation to relax, to align, to fall into the natural rhythm of rest. Each inhalation draws in the season itself, earthy and familiar, while each exhalation releases tension accumulated during the day. Seasonal shifts influence sleep in profound and fascinating ways. The human body is finely tuned to cycles of temperature and light, orchestrated by the suprachiasmatic nucleus, a tiny region of the brain that governs circadian rhythms. As the days shorten or lengthen and temperatures rise or fall, this internal clock subtly adjusts hormone release, core body temperature, and metabolic activity, encouraging sleep at different times, altering the depth of slow-wave sleep, and even influencing dream patterns. For instance, cooler nights often promote longer, deeper sleep, while warmer nights can increase restlessness, shifting the balance of neural activity and subtly affecting memory consolidation. Temperature itself is a signal the body has learned to respond to over millennia. As skin senses cooler air, blood vessels constrict and relax in subtle patterns. The body loses heat in a controlled way, preparing the mind for slumber. Conversely, warmth can accelerate certain neural processes, sometimes making it more difficult to fall asleep. Yet, the natural oscillation of day into night, heat into cool, creates a gentle anticipatory tension, almost like a story being told by the environment. Your body listens, your mind tunes in, and slowly, subtly, the internal narrative of rest begins to unfold. There is also a suspenseful beauty in seasonal transitions. The environment itself becomes unpredictable in small, fascinating ways. A sudden gust of chilly autumn air, the first frost glinting on the grass, or the gentle hum of insects in late summer. Each change captures your attention just enough to awaken curiosity while leaving you calm. The brain thrives on such variations, interpreting them as signals that balance alertness with relaxation. A soft tension emerges, like a story unfolding slowly in the background, keeping you engaged yet soothed, preparing your nervous system for restorative rest. Consider how seasonal light changes further influence sleep. As the sun rises and sets at different times, even subtle variations in ambient illumination affect melatonin production, cortisol rhythms, and alertness cycles. This is why the first glow of dawn in spring may feel invigorating, while winter twilight seems to invite introspection and slowness. Your brain's perception of light intensity, color temperature, and duration all converge to guide neural activity, synchronizing your internal rhythms with external cycles, creating a natural, almost hypnotic harmony between body, mind, and environment. The interplay between temperature, light, and environmental cues creates a complex, invisible architecture that subtly shapes cognition, emotion, and sleep quality. Your neurons respond to these cues with delicate precision, adjusting firing rates and chemical balances, while the parasympathetic system quietly encourages relaxation. The unpredictability of nature's signals, the first frost, a sudden gust, a warm night sky as suspense, engaging the mind just enough to heighten awareness, yet gentle enough to allow surrender. Like walking along a softly lit path in the dark, guided by invisible hands, imagine the seasonal shifts as a kind of choreography, an invisible dance between earth and sky, warmth and cold, light and dark. Your body moves in harmony with this rhythm, senses heightened subtly yet without strain. Each inhalation synchronizes with the cooling or warming air. Each exhalation a release of tension accumulated under the sun's heat or the day's bustle. You are both observer and participant in this delicate, ancient cycle, feeling attuned to a larger story that unfolds slowly, rhythmically, eternally, a story of balance, change, and quiet adaptation. And as you lie there, immersed in the gentle whispers of seasonal change, feel the suspense dissolve into a sense of awe and wonder. The body's innate wisdom, guided by subtle environmental cues, orchestrates the perfect conditions for restorative sleep, while your mind, curious and alert in small doses, gradually releases into calm. You are connected to an invisible web of rhythms, a dance between neurons, temperature, light, and Earth's orbit. Each beat of your heart, each wave of breath, a small echo of the larger cycles surrounding you. And as you notice the air brushing softly across your skin and the subtle changes in ambient light, let yourself prepare to drift into the next chapter of our journey. Soon we will explore the gentle influence of humidity and air pressure, how even unseen aspects of the atmosphere carry signals that guide sleep, influencing both mind and body in ways you have likely never noticed. Allow the season, the temperature, and the invisible currents of the world to linger as companions, gentle guides, and hypnotic storytellers, leading you softly toward deeper, restorative rest. Have you ever noticed how some nights feel heavier than others? The air thick with moisture, or so light and crisp that each breath feels like a delicate caress? Have you ever wondered why subtle changes in humidity and air pressure can make sleep feel effortless on one night and restless on another? Why? Your body seems to intuitively respond to invisible shifts in the atmosphere, as though it is tuned to an ancient, secret rhythm. Picture yourself lying in a quiet bedroom, windows slightly ajar, or perhaps in a garden surrounded by the gentle chorus of nighttime creatures. The air feels alive, not just around you, but with you. Each inhalation carries a whisper of moisture, a subtle shift in temperature. Each exhalation releases tension. As your body responds to the unseen currents swirling gently through the space, you notice the slight heaviness in the air, the way it brushes across your skin, entering the tiny channels of your respiratory system, filling your lungs with a sensation that is at once familiar and mysterious. Humidity and air pressure, though invisible, have profound effects on the human body. The density of water vapor in the air influences thermoregulation, the process by which your body maintains a stable internal temperature. On humid nights, sweat evaporates more slowly, subtly affecting your body's cooling mechanisms, making sleep feel heavier, sometimes even more drowsy, but occasionally slightly restless as the brain monitors internal and external conditions. On drier nights, the air carries less moisture, leading to quicker evaporation of sweat, a sense of lightness, and sometimes heightened awareness. The body responds to these signals without conscious effort, like a perfectly tuned instrument adjusting to invisible forces. Air pressure, too, plays a hidden yet fascinating role. Atmospheric pressure fluctuates with weather systems, creating gentle undulations that your body can sense. Though these changes are often imperceptible consciously, they subtly influence circulation, oxygen intake, and even the vestibular system responsible for balance. Some people notice mild headaches or restlessness with sudden drops in pressure, while others experience a profound sense of calm, as though the body itself recognizes the approaching rhythm of calm or storm. These imperceptible fluctuations act like a gentle storyteller, sending quiet signals that your brain interprets as patterns, anticipation, and sometimes suspense. Did you know that humans are more sensitive to subtle changes in barometric pressure than many other mammals? Our nervous system evolved over millennia to detect approaching storms, droughts, and seasonal shifts, responds to changes in pressure, humidity, and airflow, translating them into neural activity that affects mood, cognition, and sleep readiness. This is why a heavy, moist evening can feel almost hypnotic, coaxing neurons to fire in slow, measured patterns conducive to deep, restorative sleep, while an unusually dry, crisp night can heighten awareness, stimulating curiosity and attention, while still permitting relaxation if the environment is safe and comfortable. There is a suspenseful tension hidden in these subtle variations. The body and mind sense changes in the unseen currents, almost like listening to a story with soft pauses and whispers. Sometimes you feel a small flutter of anticipation in your chest as the air thickens or thins. Yet because these changes are gentle, predictable, and natural, they produce comfort rather than alarm. Your mind learns to trust the invisible rhythm, releasing tension and surrendering to the gentle guidance of timidity and pressure as you breathe. The neurons in your brain fire in delicate harmony with environmental cues, sending gentle signals to relax, slow down, and prepare for sleep. Consider, too, the interaction between humidity, pressure, and temperature. These three forces create a multidimensional environmental signature that your body interprets continuously. Without consciously noticing, your hypothalamus monitors these cues, adjusting hormone secretion, respiration, and circulation. The body becomes a silent participant in a vast, invisible dance. Each movement guided by subtle variations in the world around you. The suspense emerges from the complexity of this choreography, the mind aware that something is shifting, yet unable or perhaps unwilling to identify precisely what, allowing curiosity and calm to coexist. Imagine the poetic dimension of this interplay, the invisible currents brushing against your skin, the gentle weight of humid air, the imperceptible rise and fall of barometric pressure. It is as though the world itself is breathing in tandem with you, each inhalation and exhalation echoing the rhythm of a larger system. Your thoughts, like tiny leaves, float on this unseen current, rising, twisting, drifting, and settling slowly as neurons respond. The brain releases tension with each subtle environmental cue. Your body synchronizes with external rhythms, and an almost hypnotic calm settles in. The suspense is gentle but persistent, as though nature is hinting at mysteries just beyond perception. The body, sensitive to these signals for millennia, knows the story, even if the mind only senses it vaguely. Your mind floats in the gentle tension, alert enough to notice, yet relaxed enough to surrender. In this delicate balance, sleep becomes effortless, guided not by effort or willpower, but by alignment with subtle environmental forces, a harmonious dance between biology, physics, and perception. And as you feel the weight and lightness of air, the silent shifts of pressure, and the soft embrace of humidity, let yourself drift further into calm. Soon we will explore another hidden aspect of the night, the quiet influence of distant celestial bodies. From the gravitational pull of the moon to the slow arc of planets across the sky, and how these subtle forces intertwine with the body's own rhythms, allow the air itself, humid and alive, to remain your gentle companion, guiding you softly toward deeper rest, and preparing you to follow the invisible threads of science and nature into the next chapter of our sleep journey. Have you ever gazed out at a sky filled with clouds, or watched fog roll softly across a quiet landscape, and felt a strange sense of anticipation, a quiet curiosity that seems to pull at your thoughts? Have you ever wondered why the shifting shapes of clouds, or the soft, enveloping veil of fog, can make the world feel at once mysterious and intimate? why your mind seems to follow these movements instinctively, adjusting its own rhythms in subtle, almost imperceptible ways. Picture yourself standing at the edge of a quiet lake in the early evening, a thin layer of mist gliding over the water's surface. The air is cool and damp, carrying the soft scent of earth and water. The sky above is alive with clouds, moving slowly, deliberately. Like ancient travelers on invisible highways, light filters through the gaps, casting gentle patterns of shadow and illumination across the landscape. Each breath you take feels intertwined with the world. Every inhalation filled with soft moisture, every exhalation a release of tension. The fog hugs your skin, wraps around your senses, and creates a sense of suspended time, a quiet anticipation, as though the world is holding its breath alongside you. Clouds and fog influence sleep in ways both tangible and mysterious. Their presence affects the amount of light reaching the Earth's surface, altering melatonin production and subtly guiding the circadian rhythm. Low-hanging clouds or dense fog can filter moonlight and starlight, creating a softer, more diffused glow that signals to the brain it is time to rest. The mind, finely attuned to patterns of light and shadow, responds with a gentle slowing of thought, an easing of neural activity, and a heightened sensitivity to rhythmic environmental cues. This is why some nights feel particularly introspective, even dreamlike, as if the world itself is encouraging your consciousness to drift towards sleep. Beyond light, the movement of clouds and fog engages the brain in subtle ways. Humans are naturally pattern-seeking, and the slow, deliberate motion of clouds can trigger a meditative state, capturing attention just enough to quiet intrusive thoughts, yet not so much as to demand active focus. Similarly, fog acts like a soft veil over the landscape, obscuring details and simplifying visual input, allowing the nervous system to relax. The unpredictable yet gentle shifts of cloud forms and fog density create a low-level suspense, a feeling that something might change at any moment, stimulating curiosity while promoting calm, a delicate paradox that encourages deep restorative sleep. Did you know that clouds themselves carry measurable effects on temperature and humidity, which in turn influence sleep quality? Dense cloud cover at night traps heat, subtly warming the surface and the air around you. This can create a cocoon-like feeling, calming the body and aiding the transition into sleep. Conversely, scattered clouds can allow heat to escape, producing cooler nights that encourage the body to lower core temperature, which is essential for the onset of slow-wave sleep. The fog, often formed from condensation near the ground, increases ambient humidity, which can soothe dry airways, soften breathing, and enhance comfort, creating a multi-sensory environment for rest. There is also a poetic tension in observing clouds and fog. The shapes shift unpredictably, sometimes forming recognizable patterns, sometimes dissolving into nothing. The mind cannot control them, yet it is naturally drawn to anticipate the next formation, creating a gentle suspense, a soft curiosity that keeps awareness lightly tethered to the present. This suspense is safe, calming, and hypnotic, much like the small unpredictability of a lullaby that varies in tone and rhythm. The brain learns to balance attention with surrender, engagement with relaxation, producing a unique mental state conducive to deep sleep. Imagine the neurons in your brain responding to these visual cues, firing in subtle patterns as your mind interprets movement, shape, and light. Each shift in cloud density, each slow glide of fog across a field creates small pulses of awareness, engaging curiosity while simultaneously signaling safety. The body releases tension, the heart rate slows, and breathing becomes deeper, more rhythmic, synchronized with the slow, graceful movements of the environment. Your senses are active, yet not strained, absorbing subtle cues while allowing consciousness to drift gently toward rest. Consider, too, the cultural and historical relationship humans have had with clouds and fog. For centuries, people have looked to clouds for omens, for guidance, and for beauty, from the soft mist of Japanese gardens to the dense fog of European moors. Humans have recognized their hypnotic, contemplative qualities. Even today, artists, poets, and scientists alike note the calming, reflective power of clouds and fog. As your mind interacts with these visual cues, it taps into this ancestral memory, a silent conversation between the brain, the environment, and the stories encoded in generations of human experience. The interplay between visual, tactile, and chemical cues creates a deeply layered experience. Each inhalation of humid air, each glimpse of cloud movement, each subtle shift in shadow and light contributes to a hypnotic state, preparing the mind and body for restorative sleep. There is suspense, curiosity, and wonder, yet they are soft, enveloping, not alarming. The brain is engaged, the nervous system is soothed, and the body responds in quiet, orchestrated harmony. And as you watch the fog swirl and clouds drift across the sky, allow yourself to drift further into this gentle tension. Soon we will explore the quiet, invisible forces of nocturnal wildlife and natural soundscapes. How distant calls, rustles, and subtle vibrations interact with the brain to guide sleep. Let the clouds and fog remain as companions, soft, mysterious, and hypnotic, guiding you toward deeper rest, and preparing you to follow the gentle, suspenseful currents of our journey through the science of sleep. Have you ever listened to the quiet symphony of the night and noticed the subtle calls of owls, the distant croak of frogs, or the soft rustle of small mammals moving unseen? Have you wondered why these nocturnal sounds can feel both comforting and strangely suspenseful? Why your mind seems to attune itself to these hidden rhythms, as if the world itself is whispering ancient secrets directly into your consciousness? Picture yourself lying in a quiet forest, clearing the sky, a deep velvet above, stars scattered like glittering fragments of light. The air is cool, carrying the scent of damp earth and foliage. Each inhalation feels rich with the life of the night, and each exhalation releases tension built throughout the day. Somewhere in the distance, a soft, repetitive hoot of an owl breaks the stillness, accompanied by the gentle croaking of frogs near a small pond. A fox rustles unseen in the underbrush, its movement barely perceptible, yet somehow registering in the mind. The world feels alive, yet safely distant, an intricate interplay of motion and sound that invites both curiosity and relaxation. Nocturnal animal sounds influence sleep in fascinating and often subconscious ways. Humans are attuned to these subtle environmental cues, a survival trait inherited from millennia of nocturnal awareness. Even when the sounds carry no immediate threat, the brain interprets them, categorizes them, and integrates them into patterns that guide alertness, attention, and relaxation. Owl calls, for instance, are generally low frequency and rhythmic, which can act similarly to white noise, masking intrusive thoughts and reducing mental chatter. Frogs, croaks, and insect calls often produce irregular yet predictable patterns, a gentle tension that keeps the mind engaged while simultaneously signaling safety. The science behind this is deeply intriguing. Auditory processing during sleep is not dormant. The brain continues to monitor environmental sounds, evaluating whether they are meaningful, threatening, or soothing. Exposure to consistent, gentle nocturnal sounds has been shown to enhance slow-wave sleep, improve memory consolidation, and reduce the likelihood of sudden awakenings. These subtle cues help synchronize neural activity, producing a hypnotic harmony between the external environment and internal brain states. The unpredictability of some animal calls adds suspense, engaging curiosity without triggering alarm, a perfect balance for restorative rest. Did you know that the evolutionary purpose of such heightened sensitivity is ancient? Humans have always lived alongside nocturnal creatures, learning to recognize the subtle differences between danger and calm. The rustle of a small animal might indicate a harmless movement or a predator's approach, and the brain developed to respond flexibly, evaluating risk while conserving energy. Even today, when threats are largely absent, this finely tuned auditory system responds to similar patterns, interpreting them as signals, messages, and stories in the night. Consider also the psychological and emotional effects. Listening to nocturnal sounds can trigger a sense of connection to the natural world, activating regions of the brain associated with memory, curiosity, and emotion. There is a gentle suspense, a feeling of something unseen but known. The mind floats between alertness and surrender, engaged yet relaxed. Each call, rustle, or distant splash of water acts like a soft, unpredictable punctuation in the narrative of the night. Your neurons respond to subtle rhythms, creating an almost hypnotic interplay between curiosity, anticipation, and calm. Humidity, temperature, and landscape further enhance this experience. Sounds travel differently in cool, moist air than in dry or warm conditions, amplifying certain frequencies while softening others. The rustle of a small creature may carry farther. The croak of frogs may echo gently across a pond. These environmental nuances create a dynamic auditory landscape that keeps the mind lightly engaged, stimulating attention just enough to maintain gentle curiosity while allowing the parasympathetic nervous system to relax, preparing the body for restorative sleep. Imagine the neurons in your brain responding to each sound as if it were a note in an ancient symphony. Each low-frequency hoot, each irregular croak, each rustle of leaves stimulates auditory pathways, triggering waves of calm, anticipation, and focus. Your body responds to heart rate adjusting subtly, muscles relaxing, and breathing synchronizing with the rhythm of the night. There is suspense, curiosity, yet surrender. The mind becomes a receptive vessel, absorbing environmental signals while releasing tension, drifting slowly toward dreamlike states. Consider the poetic aspect as well. Each nocturnal sound carries stories from hidden lives, ancient rhythms that have echoed through forests, rivers, and plains for millennia. The night becomes a living narrative, and you, lying quietly, are part of it, floating between observation and participation, curiosity and release. The suspense is gentle, hypnotic, never alarming, a soft engagement that coaxes the mind toward restorative processes, sleep and dream states. Your consciousness is both anchored in the present and free to wander along the unseen threads of the natural world. And as you lie there, immersed in the chorus of nocturnal life, let yourself drift further into calm. Soon we will explore the influence of distant celestial motion on sleep, how subtle gravitational and visual cues from the moon, planets, and stars interact with your body's internal rhythms to enhance relaxation and deepen restorative rest. Let the nocturnal sounds linger gently as companions, mysterious storytellers and guides, leading you softly toward deeper, hypnotic sleep, and preparing you for the next unfolding chapter of our journey. Have you ever noticed that some corners of a room or garden feel warmer or cooler than others, even though the overall air temperature seems constant? Have you ever wondered why these tiny differences, almost imperceptible, can make sleep feel more or less effortless? Why the body seems to instinctively gravitate toward certain spots, where warmth, coolness, and airflow converge, as if it knows secrets your conscious mind has yet to discover. Picture yourself lying beneath a canopy of trees at twilight, the air shifting gently above and around you. The sun has just dipped below the horizon, leaving a soft gradient of warmth fading into the cooling embrace of night. Tiny pockets of air carry varying temperatures, some caressing your skin with warmth, others brushing lightly with coolness. As you breathe in, your body senses the gradient, the subtle interplay of heat and chill. Each exhalation releases tension accumulated throughout the day, and the neurons in your brain begin to synchronize with the gentle undulations in temperature, creating a hypnotic, almost invisible rhythm. Microclimates, small areas with distinct environmental conditions, have profound effects on sleep. They occur wherever subtle variations in sunlight, shade, moisture, or airflow create localized differences in temperature. Even a difference of a few degrees can influence core body temperature, circulation, and neural activity, all of which are essential signals for sleep onset and maintenance. Your brain is exquisitely sensitive to these cues, translating environmental fluctuations into changes in alertness, parasympathetic activation, and readiness for restorative sleep. The body and mind are not separate from these microclimates. They are participants in a delicate dance of subtle stimuli. Consider how temperature gradients guide sleep biologically. Sleep onset requires the body to reduce its core temperature slightly, initiating slow-wave sleep. Cooling skin surfaces and exposure to slightly cooler microclimates accelerate this process. Conversely, warmer spots can prolong wakefulness, but in measured ways. Mild warmth can enhance comfort and relaxation if it is gentle and stable. These gradients create a natural selection of optimal spaces for rest, a subtle form of environmental storytelling. where the body instinctively seeks zones of ideal temperature, preparing itself for deep, restorative sleep. There is also suspense hidden in these microclimatic variations. Tiny shifts in airflow or temperature can be unpredictable, yet, unlike sudden environmental shocks, these variations are slow, subtle, and almost hypnotic. The mind remains alert enough to notice slight changes, fostering curiosity and engagement, while the body interprets them as safe, guiding it toward relaxation. The interplay between anticipation and calm, unpredictability and safety, mirrors the ideal environment for sleep, where gentle tension leads to ultimate release, a delicate rhythm between engagement and surrender. Did you know that natural microclimates are enhanced by landscape features, such as vegetation, bodies of water, and elevation changes? Forest clearings may be slightly warmer at night due to residual heat from the ground, while nearby ponds release cooler air as water evaporates. Even slight differences in slope or canopy cover influence airflow and temperature gradients, and your body responds instinctively to these subtle signals, neurons firing in patterns that track changes, preparing the nervous system for rest. Microclimates are nature's way of creating small sanctuaries, tiny pockets of comfort, each one telling a quiet story that your body can feel but not fully articulate. Imagine the neurons in your brain as explorers, detecting these subtle cues and mapping them. The gentle variation of warmth and coolness stimulates sensory integration, while simultaneously coaxing the parasympathetic nervous system into activation. The heart rate slows, breathing deepens, and muscles release tension in response to these invisible signals. The suspense lies in the unpredictability of the microclimate, the sense that every small shift in air or temperature could change your experience. Yet, in that uncertainty, there is comfort, a hypnotic assurance that the environment is responsive, alive, and safe. There is also a poetic dimension to microclimates. Consider each tiny pocket of air as a private world, a hidden environment that interacts uniquely with your body. The cooling shade under a tree, the warm patch of air near a gently sun-warmed rock. These gradients are invisible, yet they sculpt your experience of rest, guiding your mind gently toward surrender, like invisible hands arranging the perfect conditions for slumber. The suspense is subtle, the anticipation gentle, your consciousness attuned to the unseen rhythm of the environment, floating between curiosity and calm. And as you feel the interplay of warmth and coolness across your skin, let yourself drift further into the delicate rhythm of temperature. The microclimate becomes a guide, a soft storyteller orchestrating neural activity, breathing, and muscle tension, preparing your body for deep, restorative sleep. Soon we will explore the hidden influence of night scents and olfactory cues, and how these gentle, often unnoticed signals interact with neurons to soothe, stimulate, and guide the mind toward calm. Hypnotic gradients, invisible currents, and subtle environmental signals converge to lull the body and mind toward the next stage of our sleep journey. Have you ever wandered along a quiet shoreline at night, or through a forest glade, and noticed faint glimmers of light dancing in the darkness? Have you wondered why these subtle illuminations, whether from fireflies, bioluminescent algae, or faint reflections on water, feel both enchanting and calming? why your mind seems to follow these delicate sparkles instinctively. Your neurons firing in gentle, rhythmic patterns, as if in dialogue with the light itself. Picture yourself walking slowly along a secluded beach, the sand cool beneath your feet, the gentle lap of waves whispering against the shore. The night is still, and yet the shallow water glows with faint, otherworldly sparks. Bioluminescent organisms reacting to your movement. Each step disturbs the water just enough to create ripples of light. Each inhalation draws in the salty, moist air, rich with the scent of the ocean and night-blooming flora. Each exhalation releases tension from your body, and you feel subtly drawn into a rhythm that is both external and internal. Subtle nightlight, whether natural or bioluminescent, exerts a fascinating influence on sleep and circadian rhythms. The human brain is exquisitely sensitive to light cues. Even at extremely low intensities, light interacts with specialized retinal cells, triggering the suprachiasmatic nucleus, the internal clock that regulates melatonin production, core body temperature, and alertness. Bioluminescent light is often low intensity, with slow, unpredictable flickers, which can provide visual stimulation that is mesmerizing without triggering the brain's alert response. This delicate balance encourages a meditative state where the mind is engaged yet calm, preparing the body for deep, restorative sleep. Did you know that bioluminescence has evolved as a communication tool, a warning, or a mating signal in countless species? From marine plankton to fireflies, yet to humans, it provides a subtle hypnotic cue, drawing attention and curiosity without danger. The unpredictability of the light flickers creates suspense, gently stimulating neural pathways associated with attention and pattern recognition. Your brain notices irregularities without stress, without urgency, allowing engagement and calm to coexist, a perfect balance for relaxation and sleep onset. There is also a sensory interplay at work. The faint glow interacts with shadows, water, and surrounding landscape, producing shifting patterns of illumination. These visual gradients mimic natural twilight, signaling to the brain that night is fully arrived, reinforcing circadian cues, the mind, sensitive to contrast, brightness, and subtle motion, interprets these patterns as part of a slow, unfolding story. While the body begins the physiological processes of sleep preparation, slowing heart rate, relaxing muscles, and releasing tension through parasympathetic activation. Consider the poetic and suspenseful dimension of bioluminescence. The lights appear almost magically, fleeting and unpredictable. Their slow movement across water or through the forest floor evokes a sense of mystery, a quiet tension that awakens curiosity yet never disturbs calm. The mind floats between observation and surrender. Neural circuits responding to the interplay of light, movement, and contrast, forming a rhythm that parallels the body's own internal oscillations. Each flicker is a punctuation, each glow a soft note in the nocturnal symphony, guiding awareness while easing the nervous system. From an evolutionary perspective, humans have always been attuned to subtle cues of light at night. Natural illumination indicated safe pathways, water sources, or potential danger, and the brain evolved to interpret and respond to minimal visual signals with heightened sensitivity. Bioluminescent light taps into these deeply rooted perceptual pathways, activating attention circuits while simultaneously engaging the relaxation response. The suspense is gentle and hypnotic, a low-level engagement that allows the mind to remain alert enough to notice, yet relaxed enough to surrender. Imagine the neurons in your brain as tiny dancers, responding to each flicker, each glow, each subtle shift in illumination. Electrical activity slows in some areas, reflecting calming and relaxation, while other regions remain slightly activated, attuned to movement, contrast, and pattern. The body mirrors this subtle rhythm. Heart rate stabilizes, breathing deepens and synchronizes with the slow pulses of light. Muscles release tension. The parasympathetic nervous system orchestrates calm, and the mind floats between curiosity and surrender, a gentle suspense that encourages deep, restorative sleep. There is also a layered poetic connection. The faint, magical glow of bioluminescence connects you to ancient rhythms of life, invisible yet vital. Light produced in the depths of oceans or along quiet forest floors tells a story older than memory, a story of survival, communication, and subtle beauty. Your consciousness, lying quietly in observation, becomes part of this rhythm, attuned to a dance of illumination, curiosity, and calm. Each flicker of light feels like a whisper from nature itself, guiding neurons, heart, and breath. And as you watch the gentle dance of bioluminescent light, let yourself drift further into calm. Soon we will explore the quiet, invisible influence of gravitational and magnetic forces on sleep, how distant celestial movements, tides, and magnetic fluctuations interact with the body's internal rhythms, subtly shaping relaxation and dream states. Let the faint glimmers linger as companions, hypnotic storytellers, and guides, carrying you softly toward deeper, restorative sleep, and preparing you for the next chapter in our nocturnal journey. Have you ever looked up at the night sky, noticing the slow drift of stars, the faint arc of the moon, or the subtle shimmer of planets, and felt a strange awareness, as though the universe itself were breathing with you? Have you ever wondered why these distant motions, imperceptible yet constant, seem to influence your own rhythms, your sleep, your awareness, your sense of calm, responding quietly to forces you cannot see? Picture yourself lying in an open meadow, the sky vast and dark above, sprinkled with countless stars. Each twinkle feels alive, a soft pulse in the darkness. The moon casts gentle silver light across the landscape, and you feel a quiet connection to its slow, unerring orbit. Your breath synchronizes with the gentle rustle of leaves, the faint whisper of the wind, and the invisible gravitational pulls that tug subtly at oceans, land, and even your own body. There is a gentle tension here, a suspense that is neither alarming nor urgent, but engages attention softly, like the opening of a story you are part of. Celestial motion influences sleep through both direct and subtle mechanisms. The most obvious is the moon, whose phases correlate with variations in melatonin secretion, sleep onset, and even dream intensity. During a full moon, light is stronger, and some studies suggest a slight decrease in deep sleep and an increase in awakenings. Conversely, during the new moon, darkness encourages longer, slow-wave sleep. Your brain, finely tuned to environmental rhythms, integrates these signals, even subconsciously, adapting sleep cycles in subtle harmony with lunar and planetary patterns. Gravitational cues, though imperceptible consciously, also interact with the body. The moon's pull affects tides, and this gentle oscillation extends to the planet itself, creating microfluctuations that can influence bodily fluids, including blood and cerebrospinal fluid. This is hypothesized to subtly affect pressure sensors in the body, vestibular balance, and possibly neural oscillations linked to sleep depth and alertness. Similarly, the slow motion of planets, though largely invisible, contributes to minute changes in geomagnetic fields, which some research suggests can influence melatonin levels and circadian regulation. The body is, in essence, an instrument tuned to the slow, cosmic rhythms of the solar system. Did you know that the synchronization of human sleep to celestial motion may be a remnant of evolutionary necessity? Early humans relied on lunar cycles and star positions for navigation, hunting, and safety, and their circadian rhythms became subtly linked to these predictable patterns. Even now, in a world lit by artificial light, the nervous system retains sensitivity to natural, cosmic cues, a faint gravitational tug, a shift in moonlight intensity. Even the slow dance of distant planets can influence hormonal release, neural activity, and parasympathetic activation, all of which prepare the body for restorative sleep. There is also a hypnotic suspense in observing celestial motion. Stars move imperceptibly, yet their slow drift creates a sense of unfolding, a narrative in the night sky that your mind registers without conscious effort. The brain notices patterns, arcs, and alignment, activating curiosity circuits while simultaneously allowing relaxation. The gentle pull of gravity, the quiet shift of planetary positions. These imperceptible forces create a narrative tension, subtle enough to engage, soothing enough to prepare for sleep. Your consciousness floats, attuned to rhythms that have existed long before memory, long before thought. Imagine the neurons in your brain responding to these distant cues, firing slowly in synchrony with circadian signals, while other regions remain lightly activated, monitoring subtle environmental stimuli. Your heart rate modulates, breathing deepens, and muscles relax. The parasympathetic nervous system orchestrates calm, while the mind floats between awareness and surrender. Suspense is present, but it is soft and hypnotic, a tension that coaxes engagement and curiosity without disrupting rest. A perfect preparation for deep sleep. Consider the poetic dimension as well. The moon arcs through the sky like a silent sentinel. The stars drift like whispers across the dark expanse. The planets trace invisible paths that have guided life for millennia. You, lying quietly beneath this cosmic theater, are both observer and participant, floating between awareness and surrender, attuned to rhythms that stretch from Earth to distant worlds. Each moment, each breath, is synchronized subtly with celestial motion, the slow, invisible currents of the universe guiding neurons, heart and breath toward restorative rest. And as you lie there, gazing at the moon, stars, and planets, allow yourself to drift further into the gentle rhythm of the cosmos. Soon we will explore magnetic fluctuations, cosmic radiation, and their subtle influence on sleep. how invisible forces of the universe interact with neurons to shape dream patterns, circadian stability, and overall restfulness. Let the night sky linger as a companion, a hypnotic storyteller and guide, carrying you softly toward deeper sleep, and preparing you for the next chapter of our exploration into the science and poetry of slumber. Have you ever felt a subtle shift in the stillness of the night? A sensation so faint it is almost imperceptible. Have you ever wondered whether the invisible forces surrounding our planet, the geomagnetic fields, the faint whispers of cosmic radiation, might be nudging your body, influencing your mind, and guiding your sleep in ways too delicate for direct perception? Picture yourself lying on a quiet hillside, far from the hum of civilization. The sky above stretches endlessly, stars twinkling like scattered diamonds. The air is cool and still, and yet an invisible current flows through you and the world, imperceptible, unmeasured by your senses alone. Each inhalation seems to connect you with the planet itself. Each exhalation releases tension built from hours of conscious thought. Somewhere deep within, neurons are attuned, monitoring subtle fluctuations, responding to patterns you cannot see, yet feel as a quiet undercurrent of awareness and suspense. Geomagnetic fields are created by the movement of molten iron in the Earth's core, producing an invisible shield that envelops the planet. It is these fields that guide migratory animals, from birds to whales, allowing them to navigate with astonishing precision. Humans, to respond subtly, although the effects are often indirect and subconscious. Research suggests that fluctuations in geomagnetic activity can influence melatonin production, core body temperature, heart rate variability, and even sleep onset latency. The nervous system interprets these subtle signals, adjusting circadian rhythms in a manner that aligns the body with the larger environmental forces. Did you know that geomagnetic storms, triggered by solar flares and cosmic events, can slightly disrupt these rhythms, creating nights that feel unusually restless or dream-filled? These disturbances are imperceptible to the conscious mind, but may subtly activate areas of the brain associated with alertness, pattern recognition, and emotional processing. There is a suspenseful tension inherent in this phenomenon, as invisible, unpredictable forces from the cosmos interact with your neurons, creating an environment that is alive, dynamic, and quietly engaging. Your mind senses the subtle irregularity while your body seeks equilibrium, a delicate balance that fosters curiosity, relaxation, and eventual surrender to sleep. Cosmic radiation, though largely blocked by the atmosphere, still permeates the Earth in minute quantities, interacting with molecules in the air and subtly influencing electrical activity. There is a slow, almost imperceptible dance between charged particles, magnetic fields, and the body's own bioelectric signals, creating conditions that may affect neural oscillations, dream intensity, and sleep depth. Even though the effects are gentle and rarely conscious, the brain is exquisitely sensitive, and your body responds in tiny adjustments to align itself with these invisible currents. Imagine the neurons in your brain as sensors, attuned not only to light, temperature, and sound, but also to geomagnetic and cosmic cues. Electrical patterns subtly shift in response, synchronizing circadian oscillations with environmental rhythms that extend beyond the visible world. Heart rate slows, breathing deepens, and muscles relax as the nervous system interprets the surrounding invisible field. The suspense is quiet yet persistent, a gentle undercurrent that engages curiosity, primes neural pathways, and simultaneously encourages relaxation, allowing the body to glide into deep, restorative sleep. There is also a poetic dimension to these invisible forces. The earth hums with imperceptible energy, cosmic particles dance across the atmosphere, and magnetic fields weave an unseen web connecting every living being. You, lying quietly, become part of this vast network, attuned to rhythms that stretch from the molten core beneath your feet to distant stars millions of miles away. Each subtle fluctuation is a note in a cosmic symphony, each interaction a pulse guiding neurons, heart rate, and breath toward calm, focus, and surrender. Consider the suspense and fascination inherent in this connection. Forces so vast, so ancient, acting imperceptibly upon your body, yet producing effects you can feel even without conscious awareness. You are a participant in a cosmic story, one that unfolds slowly, gently, and inevitably with the rhythm of the night. Your mind floats between observation and surrender, curiosity and calm, as the invisible threads of geomagnetic and cosmic activity weave a hypnotic environment for sleep. And as you lie there, sensing the quiet interplay of these cosmic and terrestrial forces, let yourself drift further into calm. Soon we will explore the delicate influence of nocturnal water bodies, rivers, and tides on sleep, how the gentle movement of water and its reflective surfaces interacts with light, sound, and even geomagnetic cues to deepen relaxation. Let the invisible energies linger as companions, subtle storytellers guiding you softly toward restorative sleep and preparing you for the next chapter of our journey through the science and poetry of night. Have you ever lain awake near a quiet lake or listened to the distant rhythm of waves lapping against a shore at night, and felt an almost magnetic pull in your body, a gentle invitation to relax? Have you ever wondered why the subtle movement of water, its ebb, flow, ripple, and reflection feels both hypnotic and suspenseful, as if each shift carries a secret message meant only for your senses? Picture yourself reclining on a smooth, moss-covered bank beside a still river, the moonlight reflecting softly on its surface. The water moves with a gentle, deliberate rhythm, invisible currents stirring beneath the surface, creating faint ripples that dance in response to the wind. Each inhalation of night air carries a moist, mineral-rich scent, and each exhalation releases tension from your body. Your attention drifts across the subtle patterns of reflection and movement, following them without effort. Your neurons, finely attuned to rhythm and pattern, begin to synchronize with the gentle oscillations of the water, producing a hypnotic, almost meditative state. Water bodies at night influence sleep through multiple mechanisms, both sensory and physiological. The gentle sound of water waves, ripples, or flowing streams acts as a natural white noise, masking intrusive thoughts and reducing cognitive chatter. This creates a soothing backdrop that encourages parasympathetic activation, slowing heart rate and deepening respiration. The visual reflection of moonlight and starlight on water surfaces provides soft, diffuse illumination, supporting circadian rhythm regulation without triggering alertness. Additionally, the rhythmic movement of tides subtly alters geomagnetic fields, which your body can detect, aligning neural oscillations with the natural cadence of the environment. Did you know that the ebb and flow of water also affects humidity and temperature near its surface, creating microclimates that further enhance sleep readiness? Cool, moist air rising from rivers or lakes interacts with the skin, producing tiny shifts in thermoceptors, signaling the body to relax. These subtle changes, almost imperceptible, guide the nervous system into a state of readiness for restorative sleep. The suspense lies in the gentle unpredictability. The wind might shift, the water might ripple differently, yet the effect remains calming, engaging attention softly while promoting relaxation. Consider the poetic and hypnotic dimension. Each ripple across the surface is like a small heartbeat of the earth. Each gentle wave against the shore is a whisper, a subtle signal telling the body and mind that it is safe to surrender. The reflections of stars, moonlight, and nearby foliage create a living tapestry, dynamic yet soothing. Your consciousness floats in tandem with the water's rhythm, curiosity, and calm intertwined. Each subtle movement of water reinforcing a sense of connection, safety, and wonder. There is also a deep evolutionary connection. Humans have always lived near water, rivers, lakes, and coasts, providing sustenance, travel, and a safe refuge. Our brains evolved to interpret water sounds and movements as cues for safety and resource availability. Even today, without conscious awareness, these subtle signals influence neural oscillations, hormone release, and attention, producing an environment that is simultaneously suspenseful and calming. Your body responding instinctively to the rhythm of nature. Imagine your neurons responding like tiny sailors navigating invisible currents. Each subtle change in sound, light, or movement from the water triggers a cascade of activity across the sensory and limbic systems. Firing patterns adjust, signaling the parasympathetic system to increase activity, calming heart rate, slowing breathing, and relaxing muscles. The gentle suspense of unpredictable ripples stimulates curiosity circuits without alarm, allowing consciousness to remain engaged lightly, yet at the same time surrendering fully to the deepening rhythm of relaxation. Nocturnal tides add another layer of hypnotic engagement. The moon's gravitational pull influences the rise and fall of ocean levels, creating slow, almost imperceptible undulations in coastal areas. This rhythm is mirrored in nearby rivers, lakes, and even underground water tables, producing subtle vibrational cues that can influence vestibular balance and sensory perception. Your body, finely attuned over millennia, registers these rhythms, integrating them with visual, auditory, and tactile cues to enhance relaxation, dream initiation, and restorative sleep. There is a poetic resonance in this interaction. Water at night is alive with hidden motion, invisible energy, and soft sound. Each ripple, wave, and reflection carries a story older than human memory, a narrative of tides, gravity, moonlight, and Earth's rhythms. You, lying quietly beside this nocturnal water body, are part of that story. attuned to its suspenseful yet soothing rhythm, floating between awareness and surrender, neurons, heart, and breath moving in harmony with the subtle pulse of water. And as you lie there, letting the gentle movement, sound, and reflection of nocturnal water guide your mind, allow yourself to drift further into calm. Soon we will explore the integration of multisensory environmental cues, sound, light, scent, temperature, and motion, and how your body synthesizes these inputs into a seamless pathway toward deep, restorative sleep. Let the whispers of water linger as companions, hypnotic guides, carrying you softly toward deeper relaxation and the next chapter of our immersive nocturnal journey. Have you ever noticed that some nights feel almost magical? When the soft rustle of leaves, the distant sound of water, the faint scent of night flowers, and the gentle glow of moonlight all seem to converge, creating an invisible harmony. Have you ever wondered why, on these nights, sleep comes more effortlessly, more deeply, almost as if the environment itself conspires with your body and mind to guide you into rest? Picture yourself lying in a quiet glade surrounded by whispering trees, the moonlight filtering through delicate branches, reflecting on the gentle curve of a nearby stream. The air is cool but not chilly, carrying the faint perfume of jasmine and moss. The subtle croak of a distant frog mixes with the occasional rustle of nocturnal creatures, and somewhere a faint glimmer of fireflies flickers unpredictably. Each sensory cue interacts, weaving a tapestry of stimulus that your mind perceives as both suspenseful and soothing. Each inhalation draws in these complex signals, and each exhalation releases accumulated tension, preparing your body for restorative sleep. Science reveals that human sleep is profoundly influenced by the integration of multisensory cues. The nervous system continuously monitors environmental input, processing auditory, visual, olfactory, tactile, and even geomagnetic signals. These inputs converge in the thalamus and limbic system, areas responsible for sensory integration, emotion, and attention. When these sensory cues align harmoniously, gentle sounds, soft light, subtle scents, comfortable temperature, and even tactile sensations from airflow or bedding, the brain recognizes the environment as safe, promoting parasympathetic activation, slowing heart rate, deepening breathing, and enhancing slow-wave sleep. Did you know that subtle unpredictability in multisensory inputs can enhance relaxation? A completely predictable environment may lull the mind into shallow sleep or mental distraction, while a moderate level of gentle, irregular stimulation engages curiosity without triggering alarm. This engagement fosters a state of mindful surrender, where awareness persists lightly, but tension and anxiety dissipate. The brain perceives a dynamic, responsive environment, an invisible guide orchestrating neural rhythms, optimizing the body's readiness for restorative sleep. Consider auditory cues such as nocturnal animal sounds, water movement, or soft wind in foliage. These create patterns of anticipation and subtle suspense, activating neural circuits associated with attention and sensory processing. Yet the sounds are non-threatening, allowing the parasympathetic system to dominate. Each flicker of light from moon or bioluminescence complements auditory signals, reinforcing circadian rhythms, regulating melatonin production, and supporting the transition from wakefulness to deep sleep. olfactory signals integrate seamlessly as well. The faint scent of night-blooming flowers, damp earth, or pine carries information directly to the limbic system, triggering emotional and memory-related pathways, enhancing feelings of safety, comfort, and connection to nature. Temperature gradients and airflow provide tactile feedback, subtly adjusting core body temperature. Skin receptors and thermoregulatory responses. Microclimates near water, trees, or open spaces offer optimal cues for parasympathetic activation, further supporting neural and physiological preparation for sleep. The brain synthesizes these multisensory inputs in a delicate, subconscious symphony, each neuron firing in response to sound, light, scent, touch, and even geomagnetic cues, integrating temporal patterns, spatial location, and sensory intensity to optimize the sleep environment. The suspenseful element maintains gentle attention and prevents mental stagnation, while the overall harmony promotes surrender, allowing restorative processes to unfold. Imagine your neurons as an orchestra, each sensory input a distinct instrument contributing to a complex but harmonious composition. Auditory neurons respond to rustling leaves. Visual neurons track moonlight or flickering bioluminescence. Olfactory neurons interpret fragrant molecules, and tactile sensors detect cooling air or gentle touch. The thalamus conducts this orchestra, creating synchronized neural rhythms that regulate heart rate, breathing, muscle relaxation, and slow-wave oscillations. The suspense is gentle, the engagement light, and the mind drifts, fully supported by this invisible sensory symphony. There is also a poetic resonance in this integration. Each element of the environmenta whisper of water, a fleeting firefly, a drifting scent becomes part of an intricate narrative. You, lying quietly, are both observer and participant, attuned to rhythms far larger than yourself. The mind floats between curiosity and surrender, engagement and release, and neurons, heart, and breath all align with the subtle cues of the environment, creating a perfect, almost magical readiness for deep, restorative sleep. And as you lie there, immersed in this multisensory orchestration of night, let yourself drift further into calm. Soon we will explore the final layers of nocturnal influence internal perception of time, dream initiation, and memory consolidation during sleep. How your mind synthesizes environmental and physiological inputs to produce restorative, creative, and deeply hypnotic experiences. Let the orchestra of sensory cues linger as companions, hypnotic guides, carrying you softly toward profound relaxation and the next chapter of our immersive journey into the science and poetry of sleep. Have you ever drifted into sleep and lost all sense of time, only to awaken hours later and feel as though the night had passed in a heartbeat? Have you ever wondered why the mind can dissolve the linear progression of moments, slipping effortlessly between the tangible world and the fluid, mysterious landscapes of dreams? How does the brain orchestrate this delicate suspension, seamlessly weaving experience, memory, and imagination into the tapestry of slumber? Picture yourself lying in your bed, cocooned in soft sheets, the room dim and still. Shadows stretch across walls, and the faint glow of the night filters through the window. You feel a gentle pull inward, as though the edges of reality are softening. Each breath carries a rhythm of anticipation. Your heart beats in quiet synchrony with the subtle nocturnal sounds outside. Your mind hovers at the boundary between wakefulness and sleep, neurons poised on the edge of consciousness, ready to dive into the fluid, boundless realm of dreams. Internal time perception is one of the brain's most fascinating capabilities during wakefulness. The suprachiasmatic nucleus and associated circadian mechanisms regulate alertness and activity. Yet, as sleep deepens, these neural structures shift function, allowing the brain to compress, expand, or dissolve subjective experience of time. A dream that feels like hours may occupy mere minutes in real-world duration. While this temporal flexibility may seem mysterious, it serves critical biological and cognitive functions, enhancing memory consolidation, emotional processing, and neural plasticity. Dream initiation occurs at the junction of multiple neural networks, including the limbic system, prefrontal cortex, and brainstem. The limbic system injects emotion, memory, and instinct into the narrative, while the prefrontal cortex modulates logic and continuity, often yielding the surreal, non-linear quality of dreams. The brainstem provides rhythmic cues and neural oscillations, stabilizing the transition from wakefulness to REM cycles. This neural choreography creates a state of suspense and unpredictability as each dream emerges without conscious control, guiding attention and curiosity while simultaneously fostering deep relaxation. Did you know that memory consolidation is intimately tied to both internal time perception and dream activity? During slow-wave sleep, the brain replays recent experiences, encoding them into long-term memory while pruning irrelevant or redundant information. REM sleep, rich with vivid dreams, strengthens emotional memory and creativity. The brain integrates sensory, cognitive, and emotional data from wakefulness, effectively using the night to rehearse, repair, and refine neural pathways. This process is largely invisible and automatic, yet it is crucial for learning, emotional resilience, and cognitive function. Imagine your neurons as silent archivists, shifting and sorting experiences with precision, each synapse strengthening connections relevant to survival, skill, and personal growth, while other connections weaken, freeing cognitive capacity. The suspense in this process is inherent. Your mind cannot predict exactly what will emerge in dreams. Yet there is a subtle guidance, a quiet orchestration by neural oscillations and circadian rhythms. You float between observation and surrender, curiosity and calm, as your brain navigates the invisible terrain of internal time and memory. There is also a poetic dimension to internal time and dreams, the dissolution of minutes into hours. The blending of memory, imagination, and emotion creates a fluid narrative, a personal mythology of the night. Each dream is a small universe suspended in temporal ambiguity, yet intimately connected to your body, your neurons, and your environment. The mind moves through these dreamscapes like a traveler exploring an unknown land, aware of its own presence, yet surrendered to the rhythm and pattern of the night. The suspenseful quality of dreams serves a deeper purpose, engaging attention without stress, allowing for rehearsal of scenarios, emotional processing, and creative problem-solving. Your consciousness floats at the edge of narrative and reality, lightly attuned to internal and external cues, while the body remains deeply relaxed. The parasympathetic nervous system maintaining a slow, steady rhythm, breathing, heart rate, and muscle tone all adjust in concert with neural activity, preparing the body for restorative cycles of sleep and optimal recovery. Consider the integration of sensory, environmental, and internal cues. The temperature, sense, light gradients, subtle sounds, and even geomagnetic variations combine with internal time perception and dream activity, producing a seamless, hypnotic orchestration. The mind experiences suspense, novelty, and curiosity, while simultaneously surrendering to safety and calm. Neurons encode, replay, and consolidate experiences, preparing the self for the next day, the next dream, and the next layer of nocturnal restoration. And as you lie there, drifting deeper into the fluid realm of dreams, allow yourself to dissolve into the passage of time without resistance. Let the invisible orchestration of neurons, environmental cues, and internal rhythms carry you gently, suspenseful yet soothing, curious yet surrendered, guiding you toward deep, restorative sleep. Soon we will explore the final module, the merging of all nocturnal cues into a seamless, hypnotic environment for optimal sleep and dream integration. Let this dance of time, memory, and dreams linger, quietly shaping the rest of your night. Have you ever felt that perfect night, when every sensation seems to converge into a seamless rhythm, when the gentle whisper of wind, the distant ripple of water, the soft glow of moonlight, and the faintest night-blooming scents all align, creating an almost tangible harmony? Have you wondered how your body and mind synthesize these cues? How neurons, hormones, and sensory systems merge to create that elusive, deeply restorative state? Picture yourself lying beneath a cathedral of stars, the sky stretching endlessly. Each element of the environment plays its part in an invisible symphony. The soft rustle of leaves above you, the distant hum of nocturnal insects, the faint, rhythmic pull of ocean tides in the distance, all combine with the subtle glow of the moon, the cool brush of night air on your skin, and the gentle scent of nearby blossoms. Each cue is distinct, yet they interlace, forming a delicate, hypnotic tapestry, guiding your body and mind into synchronization. Science tells us that sleep is an emergent property, arising not from a single mechanism, but from the integration of multiple environmental, sensory, and physiological cues. Neural networks in the brain act as sophisticated integrators, processing auditory, visual, olfactory, tactile, and even geomagnetic signals simultaneously. The thalamus, limbic system, and hypothalamus work in concert, filtering information, evaluating safety, and orchestrating parasympathetic dominance. Slow-wave sleep and REM cycles are not merely internal rhythms, but reflections of a dialogue between the body, the environment, and the cosmos. Did you know that this integration also involves subtle suspense, a gentle unpredictability that the brain interprets as dynamic engagement rather than threat? Or airflow stimulate curiosity circuits, keeping neurons lightly attentive, while overall harmony and safety cues promote relaxation. This balance of engagement and surrender is essential for optimal dream initiation, emotional processing, and memory consolidation. The brain learns to read patterns, anticipate subtle variations, and relax into them, producing a hypnotic restorative flow. Imagine the orchestration as a complex dance. Every ripple of water, flicker of firefly, rustle of leaves, or shift in nocturnal temperature is a dancer moving in harmony with countless unseen partners. Neurons fire in response. Synapses strengthen or weaken. Heart rate adjusts, breathing deepens, and muscles relax. The brain constantly predicts and adapts, allowing curiosity to linger without tension, facilitating a state where awareness and surrender coexist. Dream sequences emerge naturally from this interplay, guided by internal rhythms and environmental signals, creating narratives both surreal and deeply meaningful. There is also a poetic resonance in this integration. The night becomes a living entity, a conductor orchestrating every neuron, every heartbeat, and every breath. Sensory cues are notes. Environmental rhythms are measures, and your consciousness floats as a receptive listener. Aware yet surrendered, curiosity is stimulated by gentle suspense, and relaxation is deepened by seamless harmony. Each moment of awareness, each inhalation and exhalation, is synchronized with the invisible rhythms of the night, creating a perfect scaffold for restorative sleep. From an evolutionary perspective, humans are exquisitely adapted to integrate multisensory nocturnal cues. From ancestral forests to moonlit coasts, the alignment of sound, light, scent, water movement, and geomagnetic forces signaled safety, abundance, and opportunity for rest. Neural mechanisms evolved to detect, interpret, and respond to these cues, creating deep, restorative sleep that optimized memory, emotional balance, and survival. Even today, despite artificial light and urban noise, the body retains sensitivity to subtle environmental signals, responding in ways that are often imperceptible yet profoundly influential. Consider the suspense inherent in this integration. The unpredictable flicker of a distant light, the irregular pattern of wind in leaves, the faint, shifting scent of night-blooming flora, all create a gentle tension, a low-level engagement of attention. Without producing stress or alarm, neurons fire in dynamic synchrony. Circuits oscillate in complex patterns, and the body subtly adjusts, heart, breath, and muscle tone modulating in harmony with external and internal rhythms. Each adjustment enhances the hypnotic quality of the night, supporting dream synthesis, memory consolidation, and emotional processing. Imagine yourself fully immersed in this nocturnal symphony. Every sensory channel, every subtle rhythm, every cosmic or terrestrial influence converging. The mind floats lightly between curiosity and surrender. Neurons dancing, dreams unfolding, breath deepening, and body relaxing. The suspense is soft, the engagement gentle, the sense of calm profound, a seamless, hypnotic environment where internal and external cues coalesce to produce optimal sleep, restorative in every dimension. And as you lie there, enveloped in this perfect integration of nocturnal cues, allow yourself to drift fully into calm. The whispers of wind, water, and wildlife, the faint luminescence of night, the subtle pull of geomagnetic and gravitational forces, and the internal rhythms of time, memory, and dream all carry you, suspenseful yet soothing, curious yet surrendered, each element weaving together into a tapestry of deep, restorative, and transformative sleep. Let this final convergence guide you softly into the most profound phases of rest, completing the immersive journey of science, sensation, and nocturnal poetry. Have you ever wondered what truly happens inside your mind as you drift into sleep? Have you ever sensed that beneath the surface of your awareness, a hidden symphony unfolds, neurons firing in intricate patterns, memories weaving into dreams, and your body surrendering to rhythms so subtle that they feel almost magical? Picture yourself lying in a quiet room, the world outside hushed and dim. The sheets cradle you gently, and your body feels weightless, suspended between wakefulness and the gentle pull of sleep. Your mind hovers at the edge of consciousness, aware of the darkness, yet attuned to the hidden movements within. Deep inside, billions of neurons communicate silently, forming networks of incredible complexity, transmitting electrical impulses that orchestrate thought, memory, and imagination. Each pulse is a whisper, each pattern a note in a vast, invisible composition. Neural activity during sleep is both structured and fluid. The brain cycles through slow-wave sleep and REM, alternating between deep, restorative phases and vivid, dream-filled sequences. Slow-wave sleep is the realm of memory consolidation, where experiences from the day are reviewed, pruned, and stored. Synaptic connections strengthen or weaken, preparing your mind for learning, creativity, and emotional resilience. REM sleep, in contrast, is the stage of vivid dreams, emotional processing, and problem-solving. Neurons fire in unpredictable sequences, generating narratives that are surreal yet meaningful, suspenseful yet soothing. Did you know that your brain creates an internal landscape in which dreams unfold, integrating memory fragments, sensory input, and subconscious processing? These dreamscapes are informed by your experiences, environment, and even subtle cues from the night, such as light, sound, and temperature. Your neurons are both architects and performers, building worlds that exist only in the fluid realm of sleep, where every flicker of insight, every vivid image, is a note in the symphony of rest. There is a fascinating tension in this process, a suspense that is gentle yet undeniable. While neurons follow predictable rhythms in some circuits, other networks operate in chaotic, unpredictable patterns, generating novel associations, unusual imagery, and emotional resonance. This duality creates a hypnotic pull, engaging your awareness just enough to follow the dream, yet allowing deep surrender, a balance essential for restorative sleep and creative insight. Imagine your neurons as dancers in a grand hall, their movements synchronized and improvisational at once. Electrical impulses ripple across the cortex, connecting distant regions, forming temporary alliances and dissolving them again. Neurotransmitters modulate activity, balancing excitation and inhibition, while glial cells clear metabolic waste and optimize synaptic function. All of this occurs beneath your conscious awareness, yet the effects are profound, shaping mood, memory, and cognition, preparing you for the day to come while unfolding a secret, hypnotic story in the night. Consider the poetic resonance of this hidden symphony. Your mind, the orchestra hall, the neurons, the performers. Each memory fragment is a musical motif, each emotional response a subtle chord, each dream sequence a movement in a grand composition. Suspense arises naturally as patterns shift unpredictably. Curiosity is gently engaged, and relaxation deepens as coherence emerges. You, lying quietly, are both audience and participant, immersed in the architecture of your own mind, attuned to rhythms that extend from molecules to memories. Sleep and dreaming are deeply interconnected. Memory consolidation and neural plasticity occur alongside emotional integration. The subconscious mind processes fears, desires, and unresolved thoughts, weaving them into narratives that, while often surreal, serve to organize experience, enhance problem solving, and maintain psychological equilibrium. This hidden symphony allows the brain to rehearse, simulate, and prepare, using imagination and abstraction as tools for survival, creativity, and emotional balance. The suspense is subtle yet profound. Each neuron's unpredictable firing, each dream's narrative twist, each memory fragment integrated or pruned contributes to a quiet tension that is neither alarming nor intrusive. Instead, it pulls awareness inward, focusing attention softly on the internal landscape, encouraging surrender to the rhythms of sleep while curiosity is lightly engaged, fostering a state that is simultaneously restorative and mesmerizing. Imagine the dream landscapes as a fluid canvas, painted by neuronal activity and colored by experience, sensory input, and subconscious processing. Time itself becomes flexible. Sequences collapse, expand, and fold in upon each other, and yet the overall architecture is coherent, functioning to optimize memory, cognition, and emotional resilience. Your neurons act as both artists and engineers, balancing precision with chaos, suspense with calm, engagement with surrender. And as you lie there, immersed in this hidden symphony, let the gentle firing of neurons, the fluid landscapes of dreams, and the subtle integration of memory guide you deeper into calm. Allow the suspenseful yet soothing rhythm of your mind to carry you toward restorative, dream-rich sleep, where every pulse, every pattern, every narrative is part of a secret orchestra, performing tirelessly to heal, restore, and inspire, preparing you for the waking world while crafting a hypnotic internal story uniquely your own.